Sevarog, the Grim Reaper of Paragon, and man, is this guy the bringer of death or what? He's an absolute monster in the early to mid game, and then in the late game as we begin to transition into our tanky phase, the enemy team have no way of handling us as our team rip them to shreds. Without further ado, let's get right to it. You want your prime card, the Warlord, for that physical damage bonus. You then want a health potion and double strike token. Throw in a Stalker's Key if you have it. The passive is great for allowing you to sustain farming in the jungle without having to back, and you'll be able to get a couple of ganks without worrying too much about your health. If you don't have a Stalker's Key, you can use a Brawler's Key instead, but just be careful to watch your health. Add in a Guardian's Ward. If you're using any hero, you should have wards. The only time I might forgive you is if you're playing a carry and you're at 60 card points. Throw 3 minor strikes into this. Next is your Windcarver blade. Add 2 major kinetics and a major strike. Throw in your spiked Boneplate with 3 guards and 2 strikes. Your tempered plate with 2 greater guards and 1 greater health. Your tuned barrier with 2 greater barriers and a greater health. And finally, your Thorned Greenweave with 3 barriers and 2 strikes. You'll notice that we have 4 or 5 upgrades for cards with only 3 upgrades, because I want you guys to have the flexibility in deciding if you need more armor or damage. I always favor more damage unless the enemy team have a lot of one damage type or they're considerably ahead, but it's good to have all your bases covered. You can see that we get some damage from our Guardian's Ward and Windcarver blade, but also from our spiked Boneplate and Thorned Greenweave. These 2 cards are why growth is such a strong affinity. Being able to build armor and damage in one card is fantastic, and no other affinity has access to cards like this. Now, how you decide to build Sevarog in the game is completely up to you. I'd say definitely start with your health potion and double strike token. Next, you want to back for your Stalker's Key to collect those all important harvesters for your team. After this, I recommend getting your Guardian's Ward. It's important to have vision in the jungle and could stop your allies from getting ganked. I like to max out my Guardian's Ward with 3 minor strikes before I move on to my next card. I'll either go for my spiked Boneplate or Thorned Greenweave next, depending on which enemy hero is most threatening. You then want to equip 2 strikes into this and 1 armor item. I've given you the choice to build extra tanky if you want, but I definitely advise going for the 2 strikes. I'll then equip my next armor card and do the same. I recommend, all things being equal, that you get your spiked Boneplate first. This is because most fighters and junglers are quite dangerous in the early to mid stages of the game, and the majority of them do physical damage. Windcarver blade usually comes next, unless an enemy carry is far ahead, then I'll get some armor to help deal with him or her. I max out my Windcarver blade, throw in my tempered plate or tuned barrier. Again, it depends on which enemy hero is furthest ahead. I then max both these cards out, selling my Stalker's Key for my final armor card. So like I mentioned at the start, quite a damage heavy build in the early to mid stages, but then we become a tank towards the late game, and what this allows is us to really bully carries in the early stages and have some impact on the game. We want to try and push our advantage in these stages of the game by ganking enemy heroes and taking objectives. If we just build armor at the start of the game, we'd really be no threat to anyone, and if we just build damage the whole game, as we near 60 card points, we're really just free farm for carries. We've talked enough about the build, so let's get straight into the guide. Now, it's very easy to get carried away with just farming the jungle, but remember, a jungler's role is to gank heroes as well. The build gives you all the damage you need to perform this, and so you should definitely take advantage of it. We're only 2 minutes into the game when I decide to gank the enemy's Grim. Now with Grim, some players will take the shield at level 3, and this is a big mistake because of exactly this. I root Grim, and with the slow from the Fae and my damage, he has no chance of escaping. Try to use your siphon ability to get the final hit like I failed to do here. Remember to keep ganking whenever there is an opportunity, as this will put your allies and yourself considerably ahead. Rampage might be considered a lot better than Sevarog, but he can definitely hold his own. I come into the lane to assist the Fae against Rampage, and we're taking chunks out of his health, and with our physical armor he barely does any damage to us. He even uses his ult, but I use all my abilities and my ult to kill him. I promise I'm not trying to show off my kills, I just want to show that firstly, it's okay to miss your roots. Don't worry about it, we all miss them now and again. And secondly, combo your ult with your dash. I knock Grim into the air and then dash forward to finish him off. When heroes get knocked back by your ult, they usually take a second to find their bearings, and this is your chance to pounce. Sevarog's ult is great for protecting your allies or even knocking heroes into your tower. If the enemy team are pushing up to your tower, punish them and throw one or more of them under it. Let the tower do damage for you. I pushed Greystone into the tower and I knew he had his ultimate, but with the Greystone and Rampage ult, you have to be very careful about the enemy team diving your tower, so I forced the issue, catching them off guard. We managed to pick up a kill on Greystone and our tower is safe. By the way, you can tell if Greystone has his ult if his chest and back are glowing yellow. Now remember, Sevarog has the advantage of building soul stacks. Every soul stack provides you with plus 3 health, and at 20, 40, 60 and 80 soul stacks, your Siphon ability will gain plus 25 physical damage, as well as your hero visually growing more armor. You can earn soul stacks by using your Siphon ability to get the last hit on a minion or enemy hero. You can see how many stacks you have as it's displayed just next to your Q ability. Remember that as the game progresses, you want to start becoming more of a frontline hero. Focus on absorbing damage for your team and protecting them from enemy heroes. You'll never do more damage than your carries, but assisting them when possible will help you win the game. My team decided to re-engage, so I immediately try and get in front of them. Sevarog is one big hero and it's difficult to focus another hero if he's in your face. Thanks to the damage we have, we're able to kill Twin Blast with ease. I recommend unlocking your Siphon Soul ability first, then Subjugate and then your Phantom Rush. This will allow you to build your soul stacks faster as you do more damage with each ability level. I then like to focus on Subjugate, which is his root, and lastly his Phantom Rush. Of course you want to max out your ultimate when possible. You can use your root to counter Greystone pretty easily. When he ults, time it so as soon as he respawns, root him on the spot and allow your team to kill him. You can also use your ultimate Colossal Blow to knock Gideon out of his ultimate or simply to save allies. There's not much else to say about Sevarog. Remember to build your stacks, gank as much as possible in the early to mid game, ward and build harvesters for your allies, and then become that annoying ass tank in the late game to seal the deal. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Smash that thumbs up button if you did. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. As always, the build and other details you might need are in the description. Until next time guys, peace.